Hi everyone, I hope all's well. This week's Parsha is Parshat Vayakhel. And in the beginning of this week's Parsha, there's a very interesting episode. It's right before Moshe gives over the instructions to assemble the Mishkan. Right? There's a repetition for the first time in the Torah that's going to come up again later on of Shabbat. And it says 6 days of the week you work, and on the seventh day you rest. Or whatever, it's Shabbat. And if anyone violates Shabbat, you're going to die, right? Severe penalty. Now, this verse is followed by seemingly, it doesn't come up anywhere else. It says, Lo teva'aru eish b'chol moshuotechem b'yom HaShabbat. You shouldn't kindle a fire anywhere in any of your dwellings on Shabbat. So it begs the question, what? Like, okay, you just said anyone who violates Shabbat is going to die. Like, why bring up this point about fire in particular? What's going on here? So Rashi brings down two opinions on why fire is brought in particular here. He says maybe on one side it's teaching you that someone that violates Shabbat by lighting a fire is going to be punished according to any other negative commandment. Or maybe another view that Rashi offers is that all of the all of the violations of Shabbat are dealt with separately as their own negative commandment that have their own punishes that are not lashes that would be given for a regular violation of a regular negative commandment. That's Rashi. But what I wanted to give over was a beautiful Rav Hirsch I saw on this. And Rav Hirsch says as follows. He said, what's so different about fire than any other malacha, any other type of violation that you could do on Shabbos? Well, fire, unlike everything else, is destructive, right? Fire burns things, it breaks things, right? But at the same time, fire is the sole enabler of everything humans use to use and to develop land, right? Which is a concept we see in the very creation of the world, that Hashem was developing the world, he was developing the land up until Shabbat, and then he stopped, right? So that's the whole point that Rav Hirsch is trying to get through, is that fire intrinsically embodies the quote-unquote work that God was doing from days 1 to up until Shabbat. So too, this is why fire is specifically mentioned here, because it's the very basis of all the other malachas, all the other prohibitions that we could violate on Shabbat, and therefore fire is mentioned here. And when I was reading this Rav Hirsch, I really thought it's just such a beautiful message about Shabbat, in particular, that, I mean, no pun intended, but we shouldn't be trailblazers on Shabbat, right? We shouldn't be going to light fires and to go out and develop things. We should really just take a step back and see the world for what it is, right? Whether it's developed or undeveloped, we shouldn't add or subtract to that, right? Both properties of fire itself. So my bracha to all of us is that we should all be able to really take that all in on Shabbat. The message of Lo teva'aru eish, that we shouldn't kindle fire on Shabbat. And with that, I wish you all Shabbat Shalom.